Who would have thought if I said Breeze Brady, Cam, Joe Flacco, best quarterback matchup this week? If I told you Cam and Joe Flacco once had an epic Monday night showdown, you might believe it because they've had a lot of success in their careers. Newton was an MVP. Flacco's Super Bowl MVP. The thing you wouldn't believe is the year that game took place, 2020, because neither quarterback was doing anything that would make you think they could play like they did last night. Cam was great, ran for a couple of touchdowns, threw for 274. Patriots pick up the win. Flacco threw for 3 touchdowns, a throwback performance for New York. And if you're a Jets fan, you're probably saying, we want to beat the Patriots. We don't want to beat the Patriots. They now are 0-9 and hold on to the top spot in the draft. Meanwhile, New England improves to 3-5. They can get back into the playoff hunt. It was a surprising game with a result that could have much bigger implications down the road when you factor in the number 1 pick overall. And the Jets look good early. New England is an average team, I think, this year. I don't have them making the playoffs. Nothing last night convinced me otherwise. They got the Ravens coming up, their next game. And that doesn't mean they can't beat them. They host the Ravens. But it feels like they might make a run. Schedule's a little softer second half of the season. Maybe there's a 9-7 team there. There's a possibility that we're going to be expanding the playoffs this year. Don't know. Now, this is if you have a meaningful game that is canceled, that they will enact the new playoff structure. And that would be a 16 playoff team contingency plan. Baseball did this. The NFL is going to do this. If a team or teams are unable to play all of their regular season games, the plan is to expand the number of teams that would make the playoffs from each conference from 7 to 8. That allows for a seeded bracket that replaces the traditional format. Each division winner will make the playoffs. 4 additional teams with the best record in their conferences also make the playoffs. Ties will be broken using at least 10 different metrics there, head-to-head, conference winning percentage, strength of schedule. Once the playoff teams are decided, winning the division ceases to matter. Each conference will seed their teams by winning percentage. So instead of a normal wild card round and a first-round bye for the top team, all teams will play each other using a bracket format. Now, this is going to be voted on today. NFL owners will vote today to approve what is called a COVID-19 contingency playoff plan. Kind of sneaky. You're like, wait a minute, I didn't know anything about this. They just added a 7th team in the AFC and the NFC. Now we're going to 8. Now we may have a seeded format here. And I do think this might be the future of the NFL when it comes to expanding playoffs and having the seeded brackets there. There's more money there, and I think that's a real distinct possibility. Patriots come back, beat the Jets 30-27, and if you're the Jets, and if I'm a Jets fan, I'm relieved. I think we showed that we can play, we can be competitive, but I don't want to win. I'll take the label. I'll take the 0-16 label. I'm okay. Because if I go 0-16 and I end up with Trevor Lawrence, I won. I don't want to have 2 wins. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't help us. We're either going to be really good at being bad or we're going to try to be a 500 team. And a 500 team might get you into the playoffs. Anything else, you're in no man's land. Even going 9-7, 8-8, you're still in no man's land. Are you getting better? Are you getting worse? Are you reloading, rebuilding? With the Jets, you're not good, and you will be rebuilding. And even with Trevor Lawrence, you're going to be rebuilding. I still want to know. I'm going to guess, and I don't know Trevor Lawrence. I don't think we've ever had him on the show. I'm going to guess Trevor Lawrence did not watch last night's game. Because if he was watching, who was he rooting for? Was he rooting for the Jets to win the game? But then, do you want to be a Jaguar? We're running out of teams where he could end up. And you could watch your future unfold right before your very eyes. Imagine that no matter what you do for a living, if you were going to watch where you could end up, where you live, who you play for, we have a choice. Most of us have a choice. Coming out of high school, he had a choice. Coming out of college, he doesn't have a choice. Well, he may if he pulls an Eli Manning and says, on second thought, I don't want to play there. But if I'm Trevor Lawrence, I don't know if I'm watching. And if I am, I love me some Cam Newton today after a couple of rushing touchdowns. If you look at what, the Jets ran 4 plays for 3 yards in the fourth quarter. They had the ball a total of 1 minute and 24 seconds. Seems almost impossible, but it's Jetsian. Like, I don't, it's not a word, but I've made it a word because if when the Jets act like the Jets, it's Jetsian. And last night you saw that. This is a team that gets dominated in the second half of games this year. Outscored 46-7 in the last 3 games, second half. Outgained 755 to 145. Their opponents have run 130 offensive plays. The Jets have run 53. 3, 2, 1.
Stat of the day.
Stat of the day. Stat of the day. Stat of the day. Stat of the day. Here comes the stat of the day.
Seaton going a little a cappella there for me. Thank you very much, Seaton.
Yeah, just throwing you the assist.